Let's talk about artificial intelligence enabled voice cloning. What artificial intelligence can now do, can clone your voice. They've been working on this for some time. What the Chinese tech giant Baidu has recently released is an algorithm that can clone your voice by simply listening to about 3.7 seconds of your voice. So even a year ago, this algorithm needed about 30 minutes of voice. And basically what they do is they listen to your voice and then they will start to replicate this. And they can then, the algorithm can then speak using your own voice. We've seen this with Google recently. Google is using their WaveNet technology to again generate speech, and they use this for their Google Assist. And their Google Assist is now so good that we as humans can't actually distinguish this. What's interesting is there has been quite a bit of research looking at our ability to identify fake or artificially created voices. And what this research found is that our brains are actually not able to do this very well. And if you think about this, I guess we as humans haven't really evolved. This is not a capability we've ever needed because voices were never artificially generated. And so we're not very good at determining artificial voices. And Google's Assistant can now make phone calls on our behalf and theoretically could then use our voice to even make those calls. And you can imagine how this might be useful for Hollywood when they are shooting a new movie and an actor has messed up a line. You can simply artificially create bits of their line for this movie. So what Google is now doing with this is that they are introducing this ability to have a celebrity voice for their Google Assistant. So if you have Google Home or something like Amazon's Alexa, we can imagine in the future that you simply pick your favorite voice from all the actors and actresses, and then they record their voice for some time and then simply make it available, and those machine generated voices then replicate their voice. I've recently done an article with some links in it where you can actually listen to those different voices and how these algorithms have learned them, picking up different languages, even whether you're speaking Chinese or English, different dialect, different tone of voice, and how they're getting better. So after a few seconds, it gets pretty close, but after half an hour or so of listening to someone, they make very powerful artificial clones of someone's voice. So you can hopefully see that this is also really dangerous, potentially, especially if we can't distinguish between a fake and an artificial voice. So there was a recent, I don't know whether you've seen this on Twitter, basically someone used artificial intelligence to clone the voice of Jordan Peterson, the author of the 12 Rules of Life. So they basically took something like 12 hours of his audio recordings that was, I think, on an audio book or available on the internet on YouTube, and then cloned his voice and then cloned his voice and then made him rap an Eminem song, Lose Yourself. Again, if you go on Twitter, you can find this. And this is pretty impressive. But this is probably a little bit funny. But if you think about some of the security implications for someone like cloning, or if you were to clone someone, a president or prime minister's voice, for example, and put this out. There are videos out there of Barack Obama's voice being cloned. Someone cloned Donald Trump's voice and actually made him speak Chinese. So there are lots of implications, and for me, if you think about some of the security concerns, if someone could clone my voice and left a voice message with someone or rang someone else and they believe they were me, there are some real implications here. So for me, it's really important that we basically create an awareness that this is now possible, what AI can now do, and really put, I think explaining people that this is possible, and then also making them realize that they have to maybe just rethink how easily they are persuaded, where information is coming from, if they're getting a voice message, if someone is leaving or if someone is ringing them, is this really that person? Is this information real? So some of the critical reflections on some of the information that we're receiving, even if we think this is a spoken word from someone, I think is really important. If you would like to learn more, head to my website at bernardmarr.com, where you can find tons of articles, white papers and videos that will give you a lot more insights into real-world case studies and examples.